Hey guys, hey guys. Alright, check this shit out. The 15-minute city situation. Alright, everyone's talking about the 15-minute city, blah 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 blah. Conspiracies, this, that, blah 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 blah. Alright, strengths, weaknesses, this, that. Alright, let's break it down. Here, you're gonna find this a bit funny. Oh, I gotta do the disclosure. Hold on. Hold on a second. 15-minute city. Check this out. I don't know why today, but I don't have that mojo. Life's like a wave. As long as it's a general wave, it's alright. As long as it's a general wave. As long as it's not spike up, spike down. It's just like a wave. It's normal.
Welcome back to Alpha Central. I'm your host, Jack, and today we're taking a look at women facing the consequences of their social media. Well, let's jump right in, right after you subscribe, of course.
Disclaimer, this video was made for strictly comedic/artistic purposes. No offense is intended towards any individual featured in this video.
No, a dating profile is not.
Alright. Now. Alright.
Women.
How am I going to put it to you? 15-minute city. The pros and cons. Yeah. I researched it. I researched like I always research things about. Could be beneficial, yes, or could be very, very detrimental. Alright. I posted ages ago about Universe 25.
This was Universe 25,
Universe 25.
and it's a warning we cannot afford to ignore.
Yeah. Universe 25.
Our story begins not with a bang, but with a thought, a nagging question in the mind of a brilliant and curious man named Dr. John B. Calhoun.
Anyway, Universe 25, we'll go back into that box. Alright, here's the pros and the cons basically. Just
What is
15-minute city, alright? This is a scale
what
model.
is a 15-minute city? I have a very special clip as we travel off-site to examine and visualize what our futures look like in a 15-minute city. If you want to see what I can't show you on YouTube, be sure to watch my weekly show, Scuttlebutt Lodge, on Odyssey, Facebook, and Instagram. Links are in the description below. Enjoy.
I've had a lot of people asking me about 15-minute cities, and I've seen all these people who extol the virtues of 15-minute cities, that they're great things, and then other people who are very worried about what a 15-minute city is. And I know we have a proclivity in our culture and our society today that we have to rely on expert models before we can make a decision.
This is what's funny, though.
So I decided that I would create an expert model to help visualize to people what is a 15-minute city. So come on in, let me show you what.
I'm excited to see this, man, because you always break things down into nice practical ways, right? Here you go.
The chicken coop.
These residents of the 15-minute community, they're not locked in, but they just stay there. They're free to come and go, but they don't. So let's take a step inside Everything they need in their life is right here in their 15-minute community. A water bowl, a feed tray. They own nothing, but they are exceptionally happy. And you know how happy they...
See? You thought I wasn't going to show you a 15-minute city fucking model. Well, there you go. There's a 15-minute fucking city model.
They are is by how many eggs they produce. And it's so wonderful because I get to take everything that they produce and they just keep producing. So let me go in here. And here we go. Each of them have their own house. Now in a 15-minute community, you don't get a lot of variation in housing. They're all pretty much the same. But we can take a look and collect their production. There's a few. There's a few more. And there we go.
And they run the wiser.
And they're happy.
Yeah.
I get to take what they produce. They're free to come and go, but the world is so scary for them out there. They will never leave. I don't have to put a fence around them. And here we are.
It's an ideal world. I don't see anything wrong with it. Everything is provided for them. They're cared for. They're happy. They're together.
Yeah.
It's all convenient.
What? So anybody who wants to understand what a 15-minute community is, here you go. And there's only one boss.
You get it?
And that boss provides.
Well, that's the cons. It's got some pros. And here's somebody that's living in a 15-minute city. I think Tokyo.
Very quickly look at, within 15 minutes of my house, what all the
Yeah. So that's basically
15-minute cities make everything walkable. You can go by foot to grab a coffee, do your grocery shopping, have a pint. And if you don't fancy walking, everything you need is just a 5-minute bicycle ride away. Lovely. Fans of this scheme say it will deal with traffic and congestion and make life easier, more convenient and sustainable for locals.
So there's this radical, frightening new concept going around conservative and crypto, techno, libertarian circles on the news, online, and maybe even in your local community. It's called the 15-minute city. In this highly dystopian future urban environment, everything that you need in your daily life, your place of work, where you go shopping, your school, everything will be within a 15-minute walk or bicycle ride of where you live. Yes, you did hear that right. I didn't misspeak. It is really, truly terrifying to think about living in a community that serves your needs and serves the needs of the community at large. But this is the future that an elite cabal of educators and, I guess, ultra-wealthy globalists want for us in our community. They expect us to just roll over and accept it.
so. Obviously, he likes it. I don't post this so you can view it at your own discretion, but yeah. Here we go, we got the internet fucking around here.
As much as she wants. In a 15-minute city, we are forced to miss out on the best parts of the experience of owning a dog. And that's where we load the dog into the car and we drive together to the dog park. The dog sheds in the car and gets mud in the car, and that's the beauty of owning a dog. So after we have fun in the park, next we're forced to walk another 5 minutes to get to a cafe. And not just any cafe, this is a cafe that allows you to sit outside in a plaza, away from the sounds of traffic and the smell of car exhaust. And I don't know about you, but if I can't get my coffee from a drive-thru line where I get to enjoy the wait behind a massive idling truck spewing fumes into my window for minutes at a time every single morning, then I don't want to drink it. But let's just play devil's advocate here for a minute.
Alright, so obviously he's being a sarcastic bastard. He's living in a 15-minute city and he's loving it. But here's the cons. The thing is, alright,
This was Universe 25, and it's a warning.
Alright, the concept of Universe 25, a study that was conducted, yeah? Now, if you have everything you need, like the chickens did, and that, eventually the society forms what a sinkhole and dies out. Yeah? Why? Because we lose our fundamental selves. We lose ourselves. Like a 15-minute city would work, but you have to implement things. Like in schooling, for instance, you have to implement something like the men or women can do it, boys or girls could, do like military cadets, or maybe martial arts, self-defense, something like that. Yeah, will have to be implemented in schooling, and like as a found why, because you got to do that side of your brain. Otherwise, what happens is exactly what happened with the Universe 25, and I'll post things, point forms, so you guys can review and see what I'm saying. What happens is Universe 25. Let me give you the breakdown. This scientist gave the rats everything they needed, yeah, and watched it. Eventually, the mice started becoming the beautiful ones, but they were always grooming themselves, this, that, looking after themselves. And the other males were just getting violent for no reason. And that's basically where we are now in society. Now, if you implement a 15-minute city, you gotta say, okay, once every quarter, you have to go to a camping ground for the weekend. Yeah? To bring you back to that factory setting in your mind. Yeah, because this is where you have to do something. Yeah? Otherwise, whoever's living in that 15-minute city will find that sinkhole. Like, society's already there where, look at us, we're grooming ourselves all the time, we're looking after ourselves, but we're not having offspring. And the younger gen, for some unknown reason, they go on little fucking tangents, doing fucking trippy shit, hurting people for no reason, ganging up on people, getting people to commit suicide and this and that. They threw one lady that was missing an arm off a bridge and made her snort fucking glass from a phone, and all this fucked up shit. Yeah. So obviously, the studies that happen in Universe 25 is actually happening now to the human race. But eventually the mice went into a sinkhole and all died. So anyway, I'll give you a rundown. Universe 25.
We cannot afford to ignore. Our story begins not with a bang, but with a thought, a nagging question in the mind of a brilliant and curious man named Dr. John B. Calhoun. It was the 1960s, a time of great change and booming populations. Cities were swelling. Humanity was pressing in on itself. And Dr. Calhoun, an ethologist working for the National Institute of Mental Health, was fascinated and worried by this. He looked at the crowded streets, the towering apartment buildings, and he wondered, what happens to us when there's no more space? Not just physical space, but social space. What happens when all our creature comforts are met? When we have all the food and water we could ever want, no predators to fear, no diseases to fight? What happens when the only problem left is each other? He had a theory, a dark and chilling idea he called the behavioral sink. The idea was that for any species, even the most simple, there is a point where the population becomes so dense that the very fabric of their society tears apart. Normal behaviors, courting, raising young, defending territory, they all just break. He wanted to test this. He needed to build a perfect world, a utopia, and see if its inhabitants would thrive or if they would curdle into a nightmare. So, in the quiet, rolling hills of rural Maryland, on a plot of land dedicated to scientific research, he set out to build his universe.
Universe 25, the utopia for mice. And this is why when people go to a fucking utopia, a sinkhole forms and kaput. I had an argument with pretty fucking detailed argument with 3 psych doctors at the same time. This is what I was explaining to them. Yeah? No right, no wrong, everything's subjective. Whatever you identify as, this, that, grey everything, utopia, this, that, this is what happens.
Building a mouse's heaven. This wasn't just some cage, you have to imagine it. It was a masterpiece of rodent architecture, a paradise meticulously designed for its future inhabitants. The project officially began in the month of July in the year 1968. The creatures chosen for this paradise were not special. They were common house mice, Mus musculus. Dr. Calhoun selected 4 breeding pairs, a total of 8 mice. They were the healthiest he could find, the best of their kind, flown in from the National Institutes of Health's breeding stock. They were the Adams and Eves of this new world. The universe itself was a large square metal pen, about 9 feet long on each side, with walls about 4.5 feet high. The walls were too smooth and high for the mice to climb out. This enclosure was kept inside a climate-controlled room, always at a perfect, comfortable temperature. It was cleaned regularly to prevent the spread of disease. In every way, it was a sanctuary. Inside this square world, Dr. Calhoun and his team built what you could only describe as a mouse city. Along the walls, they constructed 16 vertical open mesh tunnels. Think of them as stairways. Each stairway led up to 4 horizontal corridors, and branching off each corridor were nesting boxes. In total, there were 256 apartments, each one capable of comfortably housing a family of 15 mice. The math was staggering. The universe was built to comfortably support over 3,840 mice. And the amenities? They were divine. Food hoppers were kept full at all times with an endless supply of the best mouse chow. Water bottles were always full and fresh. Nesting material, shredded paper and corn cobs, was constantly replenished. There were no cats, no hawks, no weasels. No disease could get in. Life was, by all measures, perfect. On day 1, in that summer of 1968, Dr. Calhoun gently placed his 8 chosen mice into their new home. He closed the door, and he began to watch. The experiment, which would last for years, had begun. The golden age of exploitation. For the first few months, everything was idyllic. The initial period, which Calhoun called Phase A, was the time of striving. The first 8 mice took a little while to get used to their new home. They explored every corner, claimed the best nesting boxes, and established their territories. It was a quiet, pioneering time. Soon, the first litters of pups were born. The universe was working. Then came Phase B, the age of exploitation. The population began to grow, and it grew fast. In fact, it grew exponentially. Every 55 days, the number of mice in Universe 25 would double. It was a boom time. The mouse city was bustling with life. You could hear the constant squeaking and scurrying of a healthy, thriving society. The young were born healthy and were cared for by their mothers. The males defended their nests and their families. Social structures were strong and clear. Imagine looking down from above like Dr. Calhoun did every day. You would see a vibrant community. Mice going about their business, gathering food, even though it was everywhere, building nests, raising young. It was exactly what you would expect from a healthy mouse population with unlimited resources. By day 315, about 10 months into the experiment, the population had reached 620. The universe was filling up, but it was still a happy, functional place. It was the golden age of Universe 25. But Dr. Calhoun knew his math. He knew that doubling was slowing down. The utopia was approaching a critical tipping point.
See?
The cracks were about to show.
The
The
cracks.
behavioral sink. Paradise
Behavioral
lost.
sink.
This is where the story turns.
This is where we're at in society now. The behavioral sink.
After day 315, the population growth slowed dramatically. It now took 145 days for the population to double. The universe wasn't physically full. There were still plenty of empty nesting boxes, especially in the upper levels, but it was socially full. Think of it like being in a city. You might have your own apartment, but the moment you step outside, you're bumping into strangers. You can never be alone. You are constantly seeing, hearing, and smelling hundreds of others. For the mice, this constant interaction began to be a crushing psychological burden. There were too many mice to know, too many to fight for status, too many to interact with. The complex social rules that had governed them began to fray and then snap entirely. This was the beginning of the behavioral sink. The breakdown happened in stages affecting different groups in different ways. The first to break were the dominant males who had territories to defend. Normally, a male mouse would have to defend his nest and his females from a few rivals. Here, he was faced with an endless sea of younger, stronger challengers. They became exhausted, their spirits broken from the constant, meaningless fighting. Eventually, they just gave up. They couldn't fulfill their role as protectors anymore. When these alpha males fell, chaos erupted. Younger males saw a power vacuum and tried to take over, but they had never been taught the proper mouse social rules. They didn't fight for territory or for mates in a structured way. They fought senselessly in spasms of violence. Gangs of these rogue males would form, attacking other groups, females, and the young without reason. And then a new kind of male emerged. Dr. Calhoun called them the beautiful ones. These were males who found a way to survive the chaos. They withdrew completely. They never fought for mates or territory. They never engaged in any social behavior at all. Their only activities were eating, drinking, sleeping, and grooming. Because they never fought, their fur was perfect, sleek, and unmarred by scars. They were physically beautiful, but socially dead. They would gather in the less crowded areas of the pen, huddled together but not interacting, just existing in a state of narcissistic isolation. They were empty shells in a world that had too much meaning, too much stress. The females suffered just as terribly. Without protector males, they were constantly harassed by the roaming gangs. They became aggressive and stressed themselves. Many would retreat to the higher level nesting boxes to try and raise their young in peace. But the stress followed them. Their maternal instincts shattered. Some became hyper-aggressive, fighting off intruders but also attacking their own pups in fits of rage. They would kick their young out of the nest before they were weaned. Many simply abandoned their litters to die. Some females' bodies seemed to just give up. They would fail to carry their pregnancies to term. The infant mortality rate skyrocketed. In some areas of the pen, it reached 100%. The next generation was being wiped out not by predators or starvation, but by the broken spirits of their own mothers. A new type of female also emerged, the counterpart to the beautiful ones. These were females who would retreat into isolation, just like the withdrawn males, never mating or trying to raise a family again. The center of the pen became a swirling vortex of violence and chaos, the true behavioral sink. The mice would crowd together there, eating and fighting in a frenzy, while the periphery of the pen was populated by the withdrawn, socially autistic, beautiful ones. On day 560 of the experiment, sometime in early 1970, the population reached its peak, 2,200 mice. It was a city of madness. a paradise that had become a living hell, and from that day forward, the population would only go down. Phase D, the age of death. The final phase of Universe 25 was simply called Phase D, the death phase. After day 600, the population began a steep and irreversible decline, even though there was still endless food, water, and empty nests. The problem wasn't resources. The problem was in their minds. The society was dead. Dr. Calhoun called this phenomenon the first death. The physical bodies of the mice were still alive, but their spirit, their ability to engage in the complex behaviors that made them mice, courting, mating, building a nest, raising a family, was gone. They had forgotten how to be mice. The last surviving generation, born during the chaos of Phase C, had never seen normal social behavior. They had no role models for parenting or courtship. The young that survived to adulthood were more damaged than any before them. They grew up in a world of violence and neglect. As adults, they had no concept of family or community. The beautiful ones continued their isolated existence, showing no interest in mating. The surviving females showed no interest either, retreating into solitude. The last conception in Universe 25 was recorded on day 600. After that, not a single new mouse was born. The rest was just a long, slow, quiet death. The population aged. The once bustling metropolis of squeaks and scurrying grew quieter and quieter. The remaining mice would wander the empty corridors of their city, past the endlessly full food hoppers, living out their days until old age took them one by one. Even if Dr. Calhoun had taken a few of these last survivors and placed them in a new, less crowded environment with other normal mice, it wouldn't have mattered. They were too psychologically scarred. They were unable to reintegrate. The damage was permanent. In May of 1973, the last male mouse of Universe 25 died. The perfect world was now empty. Its population had gone from the chosen 8 to a peak of 2,200 and back down to 0. The utopia had become a tomb. The experiment, which had lasted nearly 5 years, was over. The meaning of the ghost in the machine. So, what was the point of this whole heartbreaking saga? Dr. Calhoun wasn't just torturing mice. He saw his universes as a dark mirror, a warning for humanity. He believed that the behavioral sink wasn't caused by a lack of resources, but by the breakdown of social roles and identity. In his mouse city, there were more mice than there were meaningful roles for them to fill. Once a mouse couldn't be a protector or a mother or a provider in a meaningful way, it lost its purpose. It either lashed out in violence or withdrew into a social death. He concluded that all creatures, including humans, need more than just food and shelter to survive. We need purpose. We need connection. We need a role to play in the grand drama of life. When those things are taken away, when we are just bodies packed together with no meaning, we don't just get sad or angry. Our very spirit begins to die. That was the first death. Of course, humans are not mice. We are infinitely more complex. We can create art, science, philosophy. We can adapt and innovate in ways a mouse never could. But the story of Universe 25 remains a chilling cautionary tale. It's a story about how utopia can carry the seeds of its own destruction. It suggests that our social and spiritual health is just as important, if not more so, than our material comfort. Dr. John B. Calhoun built a heaven for mice, and in doing so, he showed the world how easily a heaven can become a hell when there's no room left for the soul. And this is where the story of the mouse apocalypse gets really weird, because the way that little paradise fell apart starts to look spookily familiar. You first see the reflection in those mice they called the beautiful ones, the ones who completely checked out of society.
Yeah.
Doesn't that ring a bell?
Yeah.
It's the world we see online every day, where people build these perfect, polished social media profiles, but avoid the messy, complicated reality of actual relationships. It's the same impulse that leads people in extreme cases, like the hikikomori in Japan, to just lock themselves away from the world, withdrawing from all the stress to live in their own little bubble. As that social fabric unraveled, the very idea of family crumbled. The mice forgot how to be parents, and it's a dark echo of what we see happening around us. Just look at the news. In so many developed countries, birth rates are at an all-time low. People are putting off having kids or choosing not to have them at all. And with the traditional family structure changing so fast, a lot of people feel lost, almost like those mice who forgot their most basic roles. It has created a world where too many children are born only to be left without guidance, starving for connection and a real education on how to live. What rushes in to fill that empty space is pure chaos. You can see it when you just scroll through Twitter or Threads, or brave the comment section of any news article. The scientists called the violent pileup of mice a behavioral sink, but we've created a digital version. It's a constant storm of anger and tribalism where people attack each other not to solve a problem, but just for the sake of fighting. So when you piece it all together, the big lesson from this creepy mouse story becomes chillingly simple. Having everything you need to survive isn't the same as having a reason to live. The mice had endless food and were perfectly safe, but they lost their purpose. There were no challenges, no roles to fill, and no meaning to their lives. And that emptiness is what destroyed them. That's the warning for us. In our comfortable modern world, it's so easy to get lost. We have Netflix and Uber Eats, but rates of anxiety and depression are higher than ever. The experiment shows that without a real purpose, without genuine connections, and without challenges to overcome, a paradise can just turn into a very comfortable cage.
And there you have it. Alright. The 15-minute city. There's a few other bits that I'm gonna post. And this is far out, man. Something else about cool. Yeah, this. And we have nothing fucking.
For expressing the wrong ideas. Big Brother is watching you. They're wrong. Whilst those things are the visceral terrors which capture our attention.
I'm not gonna go into about it's all to do with Big Brother type shit, alright? Anyway. So I got a whole lot of shit that I I crunch with Google AI as I do. You know, I like the facts. So I've done that, and basically that's what it is, man, guys. All you queens and kings out there that are watching, that's what it is. That's where we're at. On a serious note, when we crunch things down, we've got the pretty ones happening. Obviously, I'm a pretty boy. Yeah, we got the pretty ones happening. We got this younger gen that got no fucking respect. We've been saying for how long? they just fucking lose their shit for absolutely no fucking reason. You know, they think that they're made out of Kevlar or some shit. You know what I mean? And they think they can just get away with whatever because their mothers have taught them to be, to have no accountability, raising them as single mothers and that. They've taught them no accountability. They've taught them no consequences for their actions. They've taught them that whatever they do, it's alright, you know, it's excusable because they basically the guy came out of her fucking legs, so it's alright because like he's super special to the rest of the world because he came out of her flaps, you know, like fuck. Or you know, they teach their females when they get of age, they're teaching them to be single mothers because that's the only thing they know, to be single mothers. And then as social dynamics is breaking down, yeah, we've lost our values as a human race. Same thing that happened with the mice, yeah. We've got the pretty ones that are all on social media, this, that, looking all pretty and that. But when you want to sit down and have a coffee with one, they look at you like, is this actually happening? Is this true? They don't know how to interact. Yeah, you got the males that they've forgotten how to be alpha males because feminism is telling you to fucking remove your fucking testicles and say, "Ain't no balls." Yeah, that's why I was big telling everybody like around Ramadan time, fucking harden the fuck up, sleep on the floor, kick back, you know, like live like we used to, like when it was hard for us back in the day, you know, shoot back from all your comfort zone. Yeah, maybe go camping on one weekend every three months. It's not gonna fucking do you any bad to get in touch with nature. You know what I mean? Fucking, I don't know. Get some fucking hair on your balls or something. I don't fucking know. Like do something. Instead of acting like little bitches. You know what I mean? Having a fucking mad argument about nothing. You know what I mean? I have prescription fucking. Hey, I said, fuck this, mate, fuck that, mate. I'm not fucking getting fucking pumped 50 fucking bucks for a fucking vape. That's only gonna last like 3 days or something. I said, fuck that, mate. I went and got a prescription and I got fucking proper juice. And I'll tell you the truth, I'm enjoying them all. That's fucking bad. Hey, that's fucking sick. So fucking. I love it. So, bottom line, everything's happening. With the 15-minute city, it's going to make things so fucking comfortable, we're going to get that single. So like I said before, we have to, if they want to do a 15-minute city, they have to implement things like, yeah, you have to go to a camping ground for like 7 days or something. Why? Because it's going to get you back to your primitive state, your primal state, you know, where you have to survive. It's going to get you out of your comfort zone. Like teach, have a cadets, military cadets, or fucking self-defense, combat in schools, and you know, maybe like they got gender studies, maybe they should have a study called the atomic family studies or some shit. You know what I mean? Like fucking everyone wants to make a big deal about gender studies. Yeah, hey, if you want to do that, that's fine. But fucking, why isn't there an atomic family studies? like traditional family studies. Why have they made religion studies forbidden in schools, which shouldn't be? No matter what religion, there should be everything at the schools for people to study. Yeah? Whether you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, doesn't really matter. Should be all three. And they should be integrating with all three, should be coming together like every quarter and bouncing ideas off each other. Yeah? That way, so all the kids can find a common denomination between each other's. Instead of looking for reasons to hate each other, they can look for reasons to interact with each other. Yeah? Maybe have it like if these 15-minute cities are gonna pan out, they have to do something. Like they can't just say, okay, have it all. You can have utopia, no problem, because we will get the sinkhole. Even though we have the artistic and the philosophical side, is that blah 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 blah. Anyway, that's what comes naturally to us. Yeah. So just like whatever came naturally to the mice, they were given, and their society broke down. So if we do what's coming naturally to us, yeah, okay, first it'll go good, but then it's going to go downhill, isn't it? It's proven fact. Utopia doesn't work. Let's look at the Matrix, mate. Fucking, even though it was a movie, the fucking crops were fucking dying, yeah? Why? Because it was too perfect. Exactly. So I'm going to have to fuck you up, mate. I'm going to have to fuck you up and take all your fucking cash. Alright? Because I have to. It's for your own good. And give me your fucking cash current. Alright, so basically what I'm saying is, fuck you. And that's it. It's fucking disturbing fucking findings, buddy, isn't it? Fucking disturbing. There's another fucking solution to the problem. Get a fucking motorbike and get open throttle therapy, mate. Fucking go rip shit up. Or buy yourself a Corvalina and get fucking smashed. And get all caught for the day, mate. That's a fucking solution, isn't it? Tell me it's not now. Did I have a throttle therapy, mate? Fuck, fix everything. We'll go for a cruise, listen to the something. You know, I fucking pulled up at the stadium, Babs, and two chicks were walking past, and they started giggling and looking at me. I go, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. They're trying not to fucking hit the deck. These two chicks, very good looking young ladies, yeah. And you're thinking, these cunts are the biggest fucking wog we've ever come across. They're trying hard not to fall over. Okay, and now you're thinking, what am I thinking you're thinking? I mean, now you're thinking, what is he thinking about what we're thinking? They're trying hard not to fucking hit the deck. And you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking you're fucking right. The biggest fucking wog you've done! With pride! They'll try not to fucking stack it. Fucking Aussie, I'm a fucking loose. Wog Aussie. Fucking making it through, mate. The fucking Aussie. Yeah. So you gotta do trailers, like some sort of trailers, but just fucking. At the same time, you can't fucking do just fucking going out and fucking fix a race for absolutely no fucking reason. These mental health fucking doctors too, they all go for the fucking utopia, they all go for this fucking, you know, fucking like neutral, you can't just fucking remove every male's fucking testicles. Society's breaking down because of that. You have to have the protectors out there. You remove the protectors, it's like removing a neutron from fucking flow of energy. Yeah? How do I explain? It's quantum physics 101. You got neutrons, you got negatrons, and you got positrons. Yeah? Negatrons want to move to the positrons, and positrons sometimes go to the negatrons. But all in all, you got a neutron that applies resistance to the attacking force, which is the negatrons. You remove the neutron, boom. Yeah? I'll give you an example. You get a piece of wire, put it on negative, put it to a light bulb, and then put it from the other one to the positive. What happens? The light bulb shines, yeah? That's atomic energy. But what happens if you get a fucking spanner and put it over the positive and negative? Oh! Yeah? Why? You remove the neutron. Yeah? That's what's happening. This whole grey area that they're all going for, it's removing the neutron. This whole, you know, if somebody comes into attack and you defend yourself, you find yourself into this shit, there's no right or wrong, there's no accountability. Like somebody's gonna come into my house, tell me what to fucking do, and if I fucking knock him the fuck out, I'm gonna get charged for it. No accountability. See what I'm saying? No accountability, no fucking consequences. And everything's subjective to one's thought. And how you feel. Like, fuck how you feel, man. What's the statistics? What's the facts? Who gives a fuck? Why don't you fill me into $1 million fucking dollars then? Why don't you fill me into a fucking brand new fucking Bugatti? Who gives a fuck about your fucking goddamn fucking motherfucking feelings, motherfuckers? What's the facts, man? Fuck your feelings. Why don't you feel me deep? You know what I'm saying? Fuck a feeling, these are feelings. Yeah, fuck your feelings, man. You know what I mean? The bottom line, that's how it is. Anyway, I'm gonna post all the stats now and back up the YouTube videos so you can check out at your own discretion. And appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching.